It's 8:30. It's July 27th, 2022. It's 63 degrees and frickin' cloudy and cold here at Site B, which, would be fine if it was like November. Oh, GGM, are there ever going to be a point in time when you don't complain about the weather? No, Billy. No, there won't be. And in case you didn't know it, July 27th is the birthday of one of our two founding fathers, Mr. Gary Gygax. Happy birthday, Mr. Gygax. Let us all take a moment to appreciate Gary Gygax's legacy, which is Dungeons & Dragons before Wizards of the Coast and Castles and Crusades, and of course just the hobby in general. It's time to take a look at all the tabletop role-playing game print products that should be on the shelf at your friendly local game store post San Diego Comic-Con. Now we should start seeing the ball rolling as we get into August/September. September, of course, the beginning of holiday season, quarter 4. So all the big projects are probably we're going to start seeing them now that Comic-Con is over and the other gaming cons are starting to arrive, and I already see one big name. Well, what's relatively big name, but still. Okay, so all the following products should be on the shelf at your friendly local game store, but it always call ahead to make sure they have it because the shipping thing is still a thing. And of course, Radiant Citadel is out. We have not stopped talking about it for almost a week now. Will this go down as the most problematic Wizards of the Coast product? Will this spell the beginning of the end for Wizards of the Coast, or will it just be another thing that Wizards of the Coast throws against the wall and then abandons because they realize they made another mistake, but they don't care because they're still making money? All right. From Limitless Adventure, we have Rulebook's Silver Ring. This is a Dungeons & Dragons box set with rules and cards for $35. It's a DM-less mini campaign, which involves drawing cards to have an adventure so the DM doesn't have to do any work. So that's not really a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons product. It's a card game, okay? If the characters are the cards, if the encounters are cards, if everything is drawn from cards, and you're all just sitting around the table drawing cards, that's not a role-playing product. It's a board game/card game. The fact that it used D&D stats maybe is just a cheap attempt to grab some D&D heat, but this is not a role-playing game product or a 5th edition product. It's a card game. From Legendary Games for Pathfinder 2nd edition, we have Wanderer. This is a $12 new class for Pathfinder 2nd edition. Optional, of course, since it's not official from Paizo. So if you want to add a Wanderer class to your Pathfinder game, yeah, there's an entire class about wandering around. Pretty sure that class always exists. It's called the Ranger. Oh yeah, this is going to be a day of harshness, I can already tell. From Gaming Ballistic for Dungeon Fantasy RPG, we have Norlander Orvin Borkin, Beastery and Enemies book. This is $50 of 200 new monsters for Dungeon Fantasy RPG. What is Dungeon Fantasy RPG? I don't know. I guess it's a fantasy game from, well, with a name like Norlander Orvin Borkin, I'm going to guess somewhere in Europe / Norway, whatever. So, yeah, I have no idea if I'm saying this right, by the way. Nordlondr, first word, Norlander. Second word, Ovinabokin. Ovenboken. Norlander Ovenboken. So it's Northman Overbook, I guess. Anyways, it's Beast for a game called Dungeon Fantasy. I would check out Dungeon Fantasy to see what it is, but there's no link to Dungeon Fantasy. Other than it's a game by a company called Gaming Ballistic. The harshness is strong today, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here's some good news. Renegade Studios, the G.I. Joe RPG Rulebook is out. Da-da-da-da-da-da. G.I. Joe, a real American hero. G.I. Joe is there. Oh, yes, G.I. Joe, the Saturday morning cartoon that sold ties and promoted nonstop senseless violence because nobody ever actually got hurt. And nobody had real names. Their names were all titles. The core rulebook, the GM screen, the RPG Day folder is out, which I have. The new dice is out, and the dice bag is out. They all range in prices from $55 for the core rulebook all the way down to $15 for the dice, or a penny for the tokens. I don't know what that means, but it says penny tokens. Anyways, this is everything you need to use the Renegade Studios Essence D20 system to run G.I. Joe. Yeah. A real American hero. OGGM is there. All right. From the Fantasy Trip, Steve Jackson Games, we have Girl Genius Sourcebook and Role-Playing Game, and some stuff for the Girl Genius Role-Playing Game, including Quick Quest, The Halfling's Hole, and Quick Quest Incident at Golden Badger. This is a GURPS 4th edition and the Fantasy Trip series of adventures. It's a hardcover rule book for the Girl Genius Sourcebook and Role-Playing Game. If you don't remember Girl Genius, it was a comic that Phil Foggio did several years ago. It's steampunk, stuff like that. So, Gaslamp Fantasy, based upon the work by Phil and Kaja Folio, and done in GURPS / Fantasy Trip. And then we have 2 adventures for the Fantasy Trip / Girl Genius / GURPS Fantasy. So yeah, congratulations, Phil. You finally get your Girl Genius role-playing game out. It only took, 10, 15 years, but congratulations. From Renegade Game Studios, we have Hunter the Reckoning 5th edition and Hunter the Reckoning folder, which I have. $55 for the core rulebook and a penny for the folder. I got the penny for free. I guess that's what they're talking about for the penny tokens. Is like you can get the game and then give them an extra penny, and they'll give you a copy of the token, the little folder thing, which you saw me have. So this is the 5th edition of Hunter the Reckoning. Hunter the Reckoning takes place in the World of Darkness. It's where you play the humans who have decided enough of all these monsters. Where's my shotgun? Groovy. So if you want to play some guys who go out and kill bad vampires, because vampires are bad. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Vampires are bad, except for Spike. He was awesome. Here you go. Yeah, and it's the World of Darkness. From 9th level game, we have Maze. This is a $55 role-playing game. It only uses a single dice, and it's basically a sword sorcery dungeon crawling game. So this is another individual's take on the OSR style of role-playing, $55. From Weird Miniatures, we have Penny Dreadful, Return to Innocence for Through the Breach 2nd edition. The Penny Dreadfuls are a series of standalone adventures for the Through the Breach series. They're about $20, $28, so they're short. They're modules, basically. They're modules for the Through the Breach series. And that is it for tabletop role-playing game products that are on the shelf this week. Obviously, we also have some other people trying to milk the Radiant Citadel money. We have something coming out called Interplanetary Dimensions, which is a book about other planes. It looks like this is coming from a company called Inphasmida, INPHASMADA. So it's another third party trying to do Radiant Citadel, but better. And of course, we have the Geeatinious Cube toy action figure in honor of the D&D movie coming out. We talked about this the other day. Yeah, it's basically a clear resin cube with some little doodads glued to the outside. You can pop the clear resin, one end of the clear resin cube off, stick your favorite action figure in there, and it looks like G.I. Joe or whoever is getting eaten by a gelatinous cube. The only problem I have with that, of course, is that they put all the little things on the outside, so they're going to fall off and stuff like that. And it would have been way cooler if they were just on the inside, which you could have done. I mean, we could have easily done that as well, but whatever. They went for what they went. We'll see how it does, but it's still just awesome that Gelatinous Cube has its own action figure, or in-action figure, or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, that's all the tabletop role-playing game print products that are on the shelf this week. If any of those sound like something you want to pick up, I know I was a little harsh today, but God, some of those just sound stupid. Contact your friendly local game store and see if it's in stock. Till next time, happy Gary Gygax Day. Please take a moment to subscribe. I appreciate everybody who joins the OGGM Adventures, and hopefully we will reach that 1,000 subs soon. Till then, have a great day. Happy birthday, Gary Gygax. Thank you, Dungeons & Dragons. See ya.